Hello, everyone. Ni hao, Washan hao, Привет, Xin chào, Buonasera. Very happy to be here today and have this casual chat, this casual time with all of you. So, um, when Earl told me that I was going to do the Drops of Wisdom today, I was kind of thinking, okay, uh, what should I teach? What should I say? What should I share? So many things that I could teach and say. And then I thought to myself, um, if I was going to hear myself speak for most of the hour, what would I enjoy the most? Or rephrasing it in another way, what could be of more value to the people that are going to invest their time this evening or this morning or wherever you are? So I realized that by far what would be of most value would be to share my experience and to share some of the tools and some of the things, uh, mental hacks that I use um, that have helped me the most throughout my path. So I'm going to start with that. And then ideally, I plan to maybe open up the space and the mic to see if we have some interaction, maybe some questions or comments. Okay, great. So um, my path started. Well, it's been a while, but it started with an interest in meditation. So I don't know why I was just interested in meditation. I mean, for many people, it might seem boring or it might seem like nothing is going on, but every time I saw an image or I saw someone sitting still for meditation, it attracted me. And I had the good seats to maybe also see. When I was a kid, I saw maybe my mother sitting for meditation early in the morning before I went to school. Um, but I never really saw her practice. For me, it was in the outside, so it came like that. I had an interest, and then um, when I wanted to start practicing meditation, I realized I could not sit. I mean, in that time, most of the meditation that I saw and most of the meditation that I had contact with, uh, people were sitting on the floor, right? I don't know. I don't know why. There was not really that fashion of meditating on a chair, or I simply was not attracted to meditating on a chair, maybe. But so I wanted to meditate, but and I think in some way, um, I had the seeds in my mind was ready to explore meditation. But my body was definitely not ready. So so I tried to sit and I just couldn't sit. And it was incredible because other people I knew, they were just sitting still and they were sitting on the floor constantly and they seemed to be fine. But for me, it was massive torture. I mean, I couldn't even um, think of meditating because I was so my mind was completely in the sensations of my body, in the discomfort, in the impossibility of being well, as I said. So that's where it all started. Um, I then came to knowing that uh, yoga was this practice and the system that was made to prepare the body to meditate. And I was like, okay, that's exactly what I need. So I started getting in contact with with yoga, and it was painful because my body had been used to doing contact sports and all kind of other sports, which had taken a toll and had made my muscles, although maybe strong, very rigid. And the muscle's not really strong if it's not flexible, right? So there was a lot of tension that had accumulated in my body. And the undoing of this tension and the undoing of all of this through the process of yoga asana was really a long and very nice process now that I see it in retrospect. But it was painful at the beginning, and it was interesting because when I started practicing yoga, yoga was not like widespread. Like um, I had to really look around to see where I could practice yoga. And I had this lesson once I saw this little ad on on a post on the city street, and it was this girl that offered yoga classes at her home. Yes, there were not really any yoga studios where I lived. It's like it was like before the yoga studios. No. So I went to her home and and she started teaching me, um, her mother, one of her aunts, and one of his cousins. So it was her family and me um, learning some traditional hatha yoga. So to make that long story short, um, I finally through through the practice with her and through homework, which meant me practicing some things um, on my own. I managed to release enough of tension and prepare my body and my nervous system to explore meditation. Because when I started the asana practice, I realized that I quickly realized that it was not only the body, but it was also the nervous system, because there were some poses that will literally make my body shake. Like, my legs were shaking. And I was like, what's going on? It's like, don't worry, you don't have Parkinson. It's just your nervous system readjusting. Like, okay. So my body readjusted, um, my nervous system readjusted. So my entire material physical container was molded enough that I could now try meditation, uh, try at least to sit on the floor and meditate. So I thought I had the battle won. I mean, I thought that now, uh, after years of practicing asana and preparing my container, I was ready to meditate. So now it was going to be just enjoy meditation, right? So after I chiseled um, my body to be able to meditate, I realized that the biggest challenge and obstacle of meditation was in my mind. I mean, now I could sit, but I couldn't keep my mind still. So my mind was all over the place. And here I was thinking that I had prepared myself for meditation. Yes, I had prepared my container, but then realizing that I had just managed to get into the pose and not think about the body for 10 minutes. Because after 10 minutes, all the sensations in the body took over, right? Again. So I had to build my endurance, and then I had to start um, building my mind to be able to meditate. And it was somehow a process which now in retrospect, I kind of enjoy. And I say, oh yeah, there were some milestones and it was nice. But in reality, it was rather painful. It was rather frustrating. But then there was like this knowing or this inner voice telling me that um, the time and energy I was investing in this was worthwhile, and that that this would be beneficial for me somehow on the long run. And I just had that certainty that it would be beneficial, but and that interest. So in other words, in our universe language, I would say I just had the seeds to pursue that with my current conditions to, in a way, make it happen. And then, so long story short, again, I'm just jumping around to give you a background of where I'm coming from. Okay, so my body was ready, my nervous system was ready. I could sit 10, 15 minutes without having to think too much about the body. And then I slowly managed through to different techniques. I mean, I had different approaches, different schools, um, all over the place. Um, and I finally started to have some moments of meditation, I would say. And this brought me to the next challenge in my path. So the next challenge in my path appeared very bluntly, and it was the innermost sensation inside me. As I developed my meditation practice and as I had established some of my asana practice, then uh, this new thing appeared in my horizon, and it was the strong sensation that something was missing, that I had to go somewhere to find something that was missing. So that took me from an early age to travel uh, and go elsewhere, and always thinking that there was something missing, then I had to find it somewhere, right? And it started at 18, leaving for Bali. I don't know why Bali just seemed like the place that had the answers. So finish high school. What do you do? Boom, leave. Just go to Bali. How long? Who cares? Just go and find whatever is missing. And and like that, hopping from one place to another, uh, and then uh, coming back to reality and say, well, I guess I need to also study and prepare myself. But there was always a sensation that there was something missing. And as my practice, if I would like to say, as my practice evolved, there was always this empty space inside me. This empty space, not as in the emptiness that we talk about usually in in this context in this universe, but like a void with the heavy sensation that something was missing and that something was waiting for me somewhere and that I had to find it. And then with that sensation, I keep seeking in a way. So I was always and now I look in retrospect, I don't think I was really trying to find, but I was entertained with the seeking, with the searching, with that sensation, that drive that you're out there to find something. And then uh, I was introduced. It was what 2000. To give you some year context, in 2008, yeah, something like that. 2008, I suddenly was in the presence of a teaching of this. Well, I was on the beach and with this friend that really liked to surf, and I said I have this teacher friend who likes to surf and he's gonna give this teaching here. You should come. I was open. I was like, okay. It was me and my brother Aldo, maybe you know, it was both of us. Said, no, you guys should come. So I found myself in front of this cool dude, this guy from Arizona that suddenly remastered us with the teaching of the pen, right? And and that really shifted some some things inside. That gave like another perspective to everything that I had gone that I had experienced in my life before in this quest and these things, and it just gave another perspective to it. And at the same time, thanks to that and to my path, I was coming to the realization that, well, and this happened, well, just a parenthesis, when you're looking for things all over the place and you're going from point A to point B looking for stuff, um, in a kind of cliche manner, uh, you always end up, well, I don't know if you always end up, but in my path, I ended up in India, right? And you end up spending time in India because you think that that's the place. And after after that quest there, you realize that whatever you're looking for is not outside. And okay, I'm gonna take 5 minutes to tell you a little India story to come back to the pen and this cool dude from Arizona teaching us the pen. Okay, so uh, in India, there's this story about the musk deer. So musk deer are deer that produce have these glands that produce this very strong smell, which is a very sweet smell. And they use this smell to make a perfume, cologne for men, and it's called musk. You might have heard it or smelled it somewhere. It's very popular in the cosmetic industry, perfume industry. So, and it comes from the glands of this deer that have that when they're mating, especially their hormones make them produce this very sweet, strong smell. So there's this story about this young musk deer that is captivated by this sweet, strong smell. And he smells the musk for the first time when he comes to his puberty, because when they come to their mating age, male deer create the hormones activate, and then this gland activates, and they start emitting this smell. Right? When they're babies, they don't have the smell, but once they become in a mating age, they have the smell. So this young musk deer smells that fragrance for the first time, and he's crazy about the fragrance. So he's like, wow, what is this smell? It's so sweet. It's amazing. I want to smell more of this smell. Wow. So he starts looking around for the source of the smell. And he's running around the forest. He runs in the forest. And as he agitates and runs in the forest, he starts smelling more. He's like, oh, so sweet smell, incredible smell. I want to have more of this smell. So he runs through the forest and runs through the forest. And he's so captivated by the smell that he starts running around the forest day and night looking for the smell. Long story short, running when it's kind of dark, falls in a hole in the forest, break his front legs, both front legs, and falls onto the ground, exhausted about running around searching for the smell. And when he falls in the hole with the broken legs, his meso, his nose approaches his chest, and he realizes that what he has been searching all over the place, that what he has been running around, looking around for, comes from himself, from the center of his chest, from this gland. So this smell he was looking for, it's coming from within himself. So that was me. That was me. I was the musketeer. So in India, when I was in India, uh, I was well, again, looking for like the musketeer running around from city to city, from place to place, from town to town, from teacher to teacher. And then I was in this place in this city called Haridwar. It's a very nice city in the Ganges River, and they make their traditional aratis and ceremonies in the river, and with the candles and the flowers and the light and the music, and very captivating, very devotional. A lot of bhakti, a lot of devotion. And I was walking in the city, and then um, I just walked a little bit away from the river towards the little hill part of the city. And then there was this street that went all the way up a hill. And on top of the hill, there was this human figure up there. And I realized uh, it was a person standing up there. And when I saw the figure and everything, I saw it was a sadhu. So a sadhu is this errant people from India that they dedicate their life to spirituality, and they only have like almost no clothes, one stick and a little bowl, and they just walk around asking for food, and they just that's their practice, right? It's a renunciant, like Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, that he in his life he was a renunciant for some time. Anyway, this sadhu standing on top of the hill, and I see that he's waving at me, like, come. And I like obviously look back, see if there's anyone else, like me. And he's like, yes, come. Like, okay. So I start walking towards him, and I just want to make sure that it's me again. I'm like looking all around, and I'm like the only person in the street. Everyone's in the river in the ceremony and the Ganges, and it's just me and him. And he tells me, "Come, come, come." So finally, I walk to him, and he's like he has a little um like purse hanging from his torso, little bag, little woolen bag, and he reaches in and he takes something out, and he's like, "Here, give me a hand." And I'm like, "Okay." So I stretch out my hand, and he gives me this warm, cushy, um, hairy thing. And I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then I see it was like bloody and squishy like this. It was like this the weirdest thing. And I was just like, "Okay." And then I just put my hand and I just hold it. And he's like, "Bring it to your face." Okay. And the moment I brought it to my face, it was like the sweetest, most incredible fragrance that I've ever smelled. And it was a gland from a musk deer that he had just like, I don't know, cut or I don't know how he got it, but it was still warm and it was bloody and it was hairy. So he had this gland of a musk deer and he just given it to me. Okay, smell it. And it was incredible. It was an incredible smell. And then I was just standing there and he's like, "Okay, give it back." Okay, I gave it back. He's like, "Okay, bye now. Leave." And he turns around and he leaves. That was it. And that was that was all I needed as a confirmation to realize uh, all these crazy quests that I had had in my life, thinking that there was something out there waiting for me, and that I didn't need to travel anywhere, or I didn't need to find it anywhere else, or I didn't need to find anything. Everything was inside me. And with that realization, then the pieces fit when I met this cool dude from Arizona showing me the pen. And then my practice was kind of complete. And then I had this space of serenity, uncertainty, knowing that no matter where I was, no matter what I was doing, no matter what was happening, I was complete. There was nothing missing. And that everything that I needed for to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve is within myself. And that gave me an incredible sensation of certainty and empowered. I felt empowered, I felt certain, I felt serene. Imagine the moment where you've been thinking that there's always something missing and that you have to find it, and then you realize that you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to really move or do anything. You're just complete in yourself. And that it is like this. And it is like and it has been so all the time. So that was the big milestone for my path that I wanted to share. And now I want to shift gears to spend maybe 10 minutes so I can open the mics, sharing some of the tools that have helped me the most um, in my practice. And if I mean, there's so many. so many tools, and and, and practice is really important because I like I like the analogy, and I say it often, and many perhaps many of you have heard me said it before if you've heard me speak before. But I really believe that our body is like a musical instrument made out of 72,000 chords, and that what practice is is tuning our instrument. Like if we were going to tune a 72,000 chorded instrument or a 72,000 key piano. I like the chord because it goes well with the channels and the melodies. But so practice is just tuning our instrument. And sometimes we get confused and we think that tuning the instrument is the goal. But when you know about music, you know that you tune the instrument only so that when you play, it's gonna sound right. Only for that when you have a concert or when you're gonna play or when you're gonna share the music, it sounds right. It's in tune, right? So practice all this asana, all this meditation, all these practices you do is simply to tune this 72,000 chord instrument. And then concert time is in the kitchen, you know, when your kids are screaming at you that they don't like that breakfast or that they don't like this or they don't like that, and you're late and they're not dressed and they're irritable. That's when that's the concert time. That's when you play the music. So you tune the instrument beforehand. So when you have that concert, when you are to play the music's going to sound well, right? And that's happening in the sidewalk, that's happening in the kitchen, that's happening in the office all the time. It's challenging. So with that in mind, the most empowering practice for me, um, well, I'm going to say right now because it can change, but is storytelling. So you're like, what? Storytelling? All of this to tell me that storytelling is like your favorite practice? I'm like, yes, 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 and yes. So I realized, and you may have realized yourselves that uh, whether we want it or not, we're constantly telling ourselves stories about the things we are experiencing in our lives, about every situation, about every event, and every person we meet. So we're going to immediately tell ourselves a story about anything that we are perceiving, and we constantly are. So the power that comes from realizing this and then consciously upgrading and uplifting the stories that you're telling yourself, about every situation, and about every person you meet. It's for me the most profound thing that has impacted um, my life in this practice. So remember, a thought creates an emotion, which is going to create an action, right? So how you think, it's going to impact how you feel, it's going to impact how you act. So it all starts by the way you're thinking, right? And obviously, um, I mean, we could go into the seed process of how this works in a marriage, but I'm not gonna go there today. I think you've heard uh, a lot of that, maybe not, but you're not gonna hear more of it today. You're gonna hear more a practical way of how storytelling has empowered my life and my practice. So the moment we live something and we meet someone, immediately we have this story in our mind about them or about the situation. And often, this story, it's a made up story because we cannot know exactly how this lousy situation, this lousy event that is going on in my life is going to be of benefit to me. Or we don't know how this um, unpolite, uninteresting, rude person that I have in front of me really is, right? But I'm making up this story in my mind that this person is rude, that this person is non-interesting, that this person is like someone I just don't want to be around. So the moment I can upgrade my mind to tell myself empowering stories about everything that I go through, every event, every situation, and every person, it makes me live from a place where I'm creating emotions of appreciation and gratitude constantly, which make me feel empowered and enjoying life in a way that is going to manifest in everything that I'm doing. Okay. So example, and you've heard this example maybe. You've read this example. I'm going to remind you of this example. This example comes from uh I think it's the Karma of Love, Mr. Michael Rose, the book. I think so. Remember this guy that comes to work always late and he's always looking tired and he spends the entire morning looking for coffee and he's super ineffective. He doesn't do anything, and you have to back up for him and do his job. And then in your mind, you're saying, "Look at this guy. Look at this lazy guy. He doesn't work at all. Like, unproductive. He's just reaching out for coffee the entire day. He leaves early. He comes late every day. Um, what an awful, ineffective um, co-worker, right?" And you're telling your story in your mind from what you perceive, from what you see. And then the upgrading of the story comes from maybe realizing or creating that story in your mind. Because that story you just made, you don't know. You never know. It's just a story. And then you create this empowering story in your mind. Maybe this guy, he's up all night, um, taking care of his neighborhood and fixing up the gardens for all his neighbors. And maybe he's even like a superhero, making sure that no one's doing anything bad in his neighborhood and taking care of all the little things in his neighborhood. And he sleeps and he's up all night, so he sleeps very little. And then besides being a superhero like that all night, he comes to work and he needs like coffee to recenter and to work. Oh, what an incredible individual. I'm gonna get him a cup of coffee so he doesn't have to stand up to get another coffee. Oh wow, I really admire him. So you're creating another story. And that story it's equally um unreal but probable as the other story you told yourself. And that's with every event, everything. Like you're stuck in traffic or on a long line and you have to wait and everything around you is not pleasant, and yes, of course, there's the tool of understanding where it's coming from and understanding that you obviously planted the seeds to be living that experience. But the fact of realizing that the story that you're telling yourself in that moment, that, oh, you're trapped in traffic and you're being late and it's so hot and you're not moving and it's so lousy, that story that is disempowering you, that is creating these negative emotions that are putting you in that negative zone, can be replaced with an empowering story about, oh, wow, look, I have all this time in traffic to think about this. I don't have to rush. Even if I wanted to move fast, I can't. So I can wait. Oh, I can listen to this audiobook. I have all this time to listen to this, all these chapters of this audiobook. Or I have all this time to listen to this music. And maybe if there was no traffic and I was going fast, maybe it would have been worse because that car could have gotten in an accident. It could have been dangerous. You're always telling yourself empowering stories. Knowing that um, and I'm going to contrast that to the seed system. Knowing that in the seed system, you can either be really happy and very joyful when nice things happen in your life, because you know that you've planted great seeds, and now in this moment, we have the time to be together in this screen and I'm talking to you and you have the time to just be there chilling, listening, or planting the nice good seeds of translating. So when you have a moment like this, you're like, ah, well done. Remember, well done, Joe, or well done, Maria, or well done, whoever I was before. Or if you recognize you planted the seeds yourself, it's like, well done, nice. So you only have the choice of being joyful because you've planted those seeds and there's something nice happening in your life right there, right? Or the second option, you're going through a very lousy experience. Uh, like myself last night, for example, I hurt my ankle. So I twisted my ankle. So it hurts. And I can't walk properly and it hurts and it's frustrating. And so when you have bad experiences like that, things that hurt, things that are challenging, then you are like, oh, nice, great. A bad seed has just sprouted. That bad seed is gone. It's cleansed. Yay, super. So you have two options, remember? You have the option of being very, very, very happy and joyful because you're receiving a nice thing of the nice seeds you planted, or you're very, very happy and joyful because the bad seed had just sprouted and you just cleansed that bad samskara from your system and it's gone, right? So two options. Very happy, or like they say in India, very, very happy. So that's all you have in the seed system, right? Joyful because it's going nice, and joyful because the bad seeds have sprouted. In the same way, when we go back to the stories, when you're telling yourself these joyful stories, when you reframe everything that's going on in an empowering, powerful way, when you reframe and your mindset comes to this place where you can feel empowered by everything that's going on, and you find a way to reframe your stories so your stories are always serving you. So you understand that life is happening for you. Life is sustaining your growth, is sustaining your practice, is giving you all the tools and all the experiences that you need to thrive, to shine, and to be your best self. Once you understand that you can reframe existence, where you can reframe life in an empowering way, then from those thoughts, you're gonna produce emotions of appreciation and gratitude, which are gonna constantly create positive emotions, which are going to make you do positive, kind acts of generosity and compassion constantly, which in turn are gonna make you plant all those nice seeds that are going to produce all those nice fruits in an ascending spiral that makes your life an incredible experience of joy, happiness, appreciation, and gratitude constantly, uninterruptedly, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter who you're with, what they're saying, or what's happening, you have the certainty that you can create an uplifting, powerful story about that and feel that appreciation and gratitude, which are going to create all those powerful emotions, which are going to make you act in coherence to how you're feeling. If you're feeling great, okay, if you're thinking great, you're going to always be feeling great and you're always going to be doing great. For me, that's the most powerful practice of them all as of now. Okay, great. So thank you for this monologue, for withstanding all this monologue, for going on a rant like that. And now, for the little time that we have left, um, I would like to know if any of you have any inquiries, questions, comments, complaints that I can reframe. You're welcome to open your mics or use your hand to intervene, to interact, if you so wish. Otherwise, I'm going to have to find another story to tell you or something. But hopefully, uh, someone has something to say. Someone has something to share. Maybe some of you have this same practice, or some of you have reframed in an empowering way something that has happened to you lately, and you want to share. Perhaps, perhaps we're all in listening mode. We're like, oh yeah,
Oh, Alfonso, I will talk because nobody's talking. And I liked so much your talk. Thank you for that.
thank you, Terry.
I was just listening to you and I was asking myself, how can I teach this to my teenager kids? And
Great
I could,
question.
yes, I was hearing their answer. Oh, you mom again with these teachings. And then telling me, okay, you can invent your story, but there's a real story. And what you're doing is inventing. And actually, we don't know in this system. We already know that we don't know what's real or not real. It's just a name that we put to things. And we are educated like that. Like they teach us since we are little kids, this is real, this is not real. And so for me, it's like trying to bring them back to that age where they believe that fairy tales are real. And actually, that maybe that word real, it's what is messing up everything. And that the story is so beautiful that you said that we can make our own stories so that we are a more loving and joyful person is the one that we have to use, and don't discriminate between real and not real.
That's so nice, Terry. Thank you. That made me think. I don't have teenagers yet. They're like preteens, but they start having their preteen thing, right? But I have this friend who gave me the exact objection about something that we were perceiving. He's like, but that's like you're making this up. That's not real, right? The exact thing. And then I heard myself answer intuitively. I mean, remember that a nice way to stay connected and humble is knowing that we're just channeling things. So it's not me that has the right answer, right? It's just reminding ourselves of things. You guys knew all of this that I said. We're just reminding ourselves, right? So, oh, great. There's something Megan has to say, but I'm just going to finish out quick. So he said, no, but that's not real. And I was like, okay, what's real? Tell me. Tell me the real. Tell me the real. And he was like, and he just gave his story, right? I was like, okay, that's real? I was like, no, that's your story. Okay, let's go ask other people. See if your real is the real. And if your real is the real, then everyone has to agree that that's the real. And somehow he realized that there was no way that everyone was going to see the thing in the same way as he was seeing it. So in a certain way, when we want to prove the real, it doesn't stand on its own legs because So maybe that can be a hint, but then you have to use your mother skills to to pass it through. So you have awesome mother skills. Thank you, Tara. So nice. Yes, Megan, please.
Yeah, Alfonso, thank you so much. This was so beautiful this morning and simple and clear in a way that I know I can bring really easily into my world. So thank you. And Terry, it's funny you brought up your kids because the first person that came to mind for me in this teaching was my mom, and how growing up I thought she was the most like toxically positive person. I don't know if that term translates well, but it was and she was so beautiful. She is so beautiful, and we have such a beautiful relationship. But there were some moments where I remember negative things happening, family members being sick, her being very sick. And she's just still smiling, like it's fine and it's perfect. And at the time, I couldn't understand. But now looking back, I just see the incredible seeds that she helped me plant, just being in her presence and subconsciously developing that mindset. So I wanted to also just share for the beautiful, wonderful parents, maybe the impact is deeply there and imprinting, even if maybe the kids aren't showing it at the time. So thank you for supporting them in that way.
Oh, so nice. Thank you, Megan. Wow, there you have it. Keep doing it. You don't know the impact you're gonna have on them. Yes. Wow. Was there someone else? Did Veronica? Did you raise your hand? Or yeah, great. Please.
I actually want to ask the questions.
Yes,
I would
please.
讲中文，然后 Peter 帮我翻译。I will speak in Chinese and Peter will translate in English. I actually have a student here, and I heard their stories, and they 然后然后他们在生活中可能有遇到，比如说，好，他们嗯，可能跟先生的问题，或者是，比如说他们经历了很痛苦的事，比如说家人的过世，或者是他们离婚，或者是在生活上总是遇到很多的麻烦，然后或是客户的问题。那他们怎么样在这个练习上，然后去利用这样的想法，然后来面对他们所面临的这种困难？
Uh, I don't hear you, Peter.
Oh, okay.
You have to go to the English channel.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I just like completely missed that. Sorry about that. Yes. Yes, sorry about that. Yes. Can you like can just yes, thank you. Yeah, great. Great question. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you, Peter, for translating. Um, so of course, it's always gonna come to this. It's always gonna come to these very hard stories. So I'm gonna have to. Can, um, can we end like 3 minutes after the hour? I think if you want to stay, I just wanna. I mean, the best answer. Well, something that I learned in India is that they teach through stories, and I don't know why I really find that fun. So I'm gonna try to answer with a story. Okay, Veronica? And so there's this family that has there's this family that has that lives in the fields, and they breed horses. So what they do for a living is that they breed horses, and it's a father, a mother, and their child, and they live in this kingdom that they use horses, and in this place, in this field where they can breed their horses. So one day, the father breeds this very nice horse, and it's a pure breed of horse, and this horse is very valuable. He can sell that horse for a lot of money, and he knows that he has this young horse that is valued, that has a lot of value, and he starts dressing the horse so the horse can be dressed so he can be obedient. So a dressed horse is even more valuable, right? Because they can be obedient to the rider. So like one day their kid is playing with the horse, and this is the only horse they have left. They have sold all the other horses because it's a really tough time in the economy, and they only have this young horse, and this young horse is very valuable. So they're keeping him, and they know that this horse can provide a lot of value for their family. So it's like their treasure in a way. And so the kid is dressing this horse, riding this horse, and then suddenly there's a thunderstorm starts. So there's lightning, and with the sound of the lightning, The horse gets scared, so he goes up, "Ooh," and the kid falls, break his legs, and the horse goes out running, scared, into the forest and gets lost. So when the neighbors know what happened to the family, they come and they say, "Oh, such bad luck. Um, you lost your only horse, which was so valuable. And your kid who helps you work on the fields, because they also farm a little bit, they also grow crops, has his both legs are broken, so he cannot walk. And now you have to take care of him, so you cannot work in the field either. Oh, such bad luck. Such bad luck. You have no horse, you have no child, you have to take care of your child, you cannot work, you too have to be taking care of your child, you have no horse. Such bad luck, such bad luck. And the man says, maybe, maybe, I don't know, perhaps, I don't know. And then as time goes by, the country in which they live gets so I'm going to shorten the story a little bit because I see the time is flying, so I can leave you go. So this is the short version of the story, okay? But it's still equally powerful. So after some time, the country in which they live goes in a war with another country, with a neighboring country. And since they go in war, the government says that everyone that has horses should give them to the government so they can use them in the war. And they say that every man over 12 years old, his son was 13, over 12 years old, must enlist in the army and get a gun and go fight in the war. So the government military recruiters come to their farm and they say, "Do you have any horses? We need all your horses." And they're like, nope, the only horse I had got lost. I don't have any horses. Do you have children? Do you have male children? Yes, I have a boy. How old is your boy? 13. Well, he has to come with the military and go fight in the war. Well, my son has broken both of his legs. He cannot walk. He's like, oh, so his son cannot go to war. His legs are broken. He has no horses to give to the military. So the military first him well and said, okay, so you cannot contribute to this war. And they go along. So the war goes on. It's a bloody, bloody war. Most of the people that went to the army are killed. They're dead. Most of the horses that went to the war, they're dead, killed. And as years go by, his son recuperates from his injury and he's healthy and he's growing up. And then suddenly one day, out of the woods, out of the forest, the horse comes back. Then I'm all happy to see the horse. But it's not only that. The horse comes back with a partner, with a female horse, and a little baby, and a baby horse. And they're coming back. And now, after the devastation of the war, after all that bad luck about losing his horse and having his kid with the broken legs, now everyone that had horses, all their horses are dead. Everyone that had kids, all their kids are dead. And now he has 3 horses, his horse, female wild horse, baby horse, and his kid is healthy and thriving. So you never know. And you can think that what's going on is the worst thing ever. I cannot see anything good out of what's happened. You never know. You never know. And if you keep that attitude of gratitude, and if you keep resonating in this place of appreciation, to know that even the things that seem challenging and that cannot possibly be any good in them, you never know how they're going to turn out. So in my experience, the more you can keep your mind thinking in this positive way to feel appreciation and gratitude, and you empower yourself, you're going to continue to act in this great positive way too. And these actions are not related to what's going on. It's related to your understanding that what's going on, as awful as it seems, you never know how it's going to turn out. And you never know the opportunities and the great things that could come from this which seems so bad now. Okay, so I hope this helps, and I hope this story was both entertaining and helpful. The short version of the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Alfonso. It was great.
Thank you, Veronica, and thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for your presence. Thanks all the translators, everyone that's here. Ishani Fanyi, Peter Lao Shu, and everyone. Thank you so much. And can't wait next time we get together to hear all your empowering stories of how you have reframed your experiences in an empowering way. Thank you so much. Have a great, 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 wonderful day, knowing that it's always like that. It's always a wonderful, wonderful day. Great. Thank you so much.